Welcome back, Epic Stories. Cinderella, an epic tale. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, a kind-hearted young girl named Cinderella lived with her cruel stepmother and two stepsisters. After the untimely death of her father, Cinderella's stepmother revealed her true colors, forcing her to become a servant in her own home. Despite her hardships, Cinderella remained gentle and hopeful, tending to her chores and befriending the animals around her. Her stepsisters, jealous of her beauty and grace, mocked her constantly, calling her Cinderella, because she often sat by the cinders to keep warm. One day, an invitation arrived from the palace. The king was hosting a grand ball to find a bride for the prince. Every eligible maiden in the kingdom was invited. Cinderella's stepsisters were ecstatic, and her stepmother spared no expense to prepare them for the event. Cinderella, too, longed to attend but was ridiculed and told she could not go unless she completed an impossible list of chores. Despite her determination, the stepmother deliberately tore her dress, ensuring Cinderella would stay behind. Heartbroken, Cinderella fled to the garden and wept. Suddenly, her fairy godmother appeared, a kind and magical figure who promised to help her. With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a carriage, mice into horses, and Cinderella's rags into a dazzling gown with glass slippers. However, there was a condition: the magic would only last until midnight. Overjoyed, Cinderella set off for the ball. At the palace, Cinderella captured everyone's attention, including the prince's. He was enchanted by her beauty and grace, and the two danced the night away. Cinderella felt as though she were in a dream, forgetting all her troubles. But as the clock struck midnight, she remembered the fairy godmother's warning and fled the palace in haste, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The next day, the prince declared he would marry the woman whose foot fit the slipper. He sent his servants across the kingdom, and the news reached Cinderella's home. Her stepsisters tried desperately to fit the slipper, but it was no use. When Cinderella timidly stepped forward, her stepmother tried to stop her, but the prince's servant insisted she be allowed to try. To everyone's astonishment, the slipper fit perfectly. As Cinderella retrieved the matching slipper from her pocket, her fairy godmother appeared, restoring her to her magical gown. The prince, who had arrived to witness the fitting, recognized her instantly. Overcome with joy, he knelt and asked for her hand in marriage. Cinderella, filled with gratitude and love, accepted. The wedding was the grandest the kingdom had ever seen. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, though they were humbled and ashamed. She invited them to live in the palace, but they chose to return to their modest estate. Cinderella, true to her kind nature, ensured they were cared for nonetheless. As queen, Cinderella used her newfound power to spread kindness and justice throughout the land. The kingdom flourished under her rule, and she remained beloved by her people. The animals who had once been her only friends now roamed the palace gardens, symbols of her enduring compassion. Cinderella's story became a legend, passed down through generations as a tale of resilience, kindness, and the triumph of good over evil. She and the prince lived happily ever after, proving that a pure heart and unwavering hope can overcome even the darkest of times. And so, the girl who once slept by the cinders became a queen who brought light to the world. And they all lived happily ever after. Don't forget to subscribe Epic Stories.